Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Teens Talk show, an 8-episode series. My name is Gloria.
My name is Mary.
My name is Michael.
And we are so happy to have Maita Kaningoni with us today. She is one of our youth leaders in Bradbury Hub, and she'll be helping us with our discussion. So, we are so happy to have this opportunity to talk about topics that we are passionate about. We've spoken about things like our children growing up too fast, racism in education, vaping as well. So please check out our past episodes if you haven't already. So as I said, we have Maita Kaningoni with us today. She does a lot of work in diversity, equity and inclusion, specifically in the pharmaceutical industry, and she will help guide our discussion today on the topic Shades of Identity. Welcome, Maita.
So like Gloria said, my name is Maita. Some people know me by Peace. I currently work as a degree apprentice in the pharmaceuticals industry, and I do a lot of work in diversity, equity, and inclusion, specifically focusing on Black individuals and the Black experience.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem.
¿Cómo está, Mary?
Estoy bien, ¿y tú?
Bene.
Oh, estoy bien. So, Alpha.
I did fine. Alpha, you all right?
Yeah.
Amazing. What are you saying, Maita?
What
How are you
telling me?
saying? How are
Good,
things?
you
Man, you
good?
good, yeah?
I'm calm still.
Cool, man. Cool. And as you've seen from our discussion, we are from a variety of cultural backgrounds. And as I said, today's topic is Shades of Identity. We'll be looking at how we live with two or more different cultures, the differences in them, and the possible opportunities to integrate them. So before we get into the bulk of our conversation, can we go around and just explain a bit about our background? So for myself, my parents are both from Nigeria and from England as well. I was born in England and I moved to Northern Ireland when I was 2. So my accent is more English because of my mum, but every now and again, certain words, you'll hear my Northern Irish accent popping out. What about you, Mary?
I was born in Spain, but my parents are Nigerian. So, and then I moved to Northern Ireland, I'm going to say almost 5 years ago now. So yeah, you could say I have an accent. Some people say I have a Northern Irish accent. People wouldn't even hear any accent. So honestly, yeah.
Fair, cool.
My parents are also Nigerian, and I was born in Italy, so I just recently moved here like 5 years ago, just as well as Mary. My accent can change, but jokes.
Yeah. And for me, I was born in Zimbabwe. I moved here when I was 2. My parents are both Zimbabwean. I identify as Northern Irish. I spent the bulk of my kind of community as Nigerian, so I have a little mix of cultures there.
Cool. Thanks so much. So to start our first question, what has been your experience living in these different cultures?
Yeah, I think personally, like it's been a wild ride. Yeah, it's definitely been something. Like I said, I'm Zimbabwean, so Zimbabwean culture is very hierarchical. Yeah, hierarchical. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically meaning that depending on age and like position, that's the person that you give like respect and stuff to. So that manifests through like, for example, say like you've come into the house and I'm greeting you, we'll clap. So women clap like this, men clap like this, and that's just showing like respect. And we also like curtsy. So just kind of showing that kind of respect in Zimbabwean culture. And obviously it's a little bit different in Northern Irish culture. But yeah, so like trying to like navigate those like different things and trying to find where I fit has definitely been it's been a journey.
Yeah.
So going off what you said about respect, in a Nigerian culture or African culture, you would normally bow to like you'd bow to people who are older, to show respect, or you would I don't know, identify or call someone who's older like auntie or uncle or ma or sir to show respect. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's also really interesting. So my son's godmother, she's Nigerian. Her sister is about 10 years older, and we call her sister and then her name. Whereas like my sister is 10 years younger than me, she just calls me by name. Whereas in Zimbabwe, like the similar thing would be done. So like my cousins call their older sister like sister or brother. But yeah, even like I think generally for us, as just a whole, it's just like you call them auntie, or uncle or sister. Whereas like I feel like there's like little differences. So I know I called my same friend's mom auntie, and she was like, you can't call her auntie. You have to call her ma. You have to call her mummy. Do you know what I mean? Whereas that was just a little bit foreign to me, because it was like, but she's auntie. Do you know what I mean? Like she's similar age as my parents. Like she's older. That's me showing respect. But like for her, it's like that's you being disrespectful. Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
it's quite interesting because one of my closest friends, she's from Northern Ireland, and I really, really struggle to call her mum by her first name. So I usually would just say hi, because I don't want to call her auntie because we're not family related. But as Mary said, in our culture, we call people older than us auntie and uncle. So I really do kind of struggle to call people who are older than me by their first name. I really, really do struggle with that. I kind of just avoid calling people by their first names. And just talking about you're talking about family and stuff. Are there any like family expectations? Like for myself, I'm the eldest, and I'm also a girl, so I'm expected to do chores around the house. And sometimes I would say I'm kind of like a third parent in the house, whereas my sisters probably would not agree with that comment. But if my parents come home and let's say the chores aren't done, it's the expectation is that I'm supposed to rally my sisters up. Right, okay, let's get this done. Whereas from their perspective, they're like,
you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, you can't like.
I do what I want. I'll do it when I want.
Honestly.
My sister's in the room. It's a bit awkward.
That's so bad. Because I also have a sister. I have a sister and a brother. Me and my sister are normally expected to do all the chores around the house, like wash dishes, clean the toilet, and cook and everything. But whenever we take turns, right? Right, and then whenever it comes to my brother's turn, I'd have to tell him, Micah, you have to do this, you have to do that. And be like, I'll just do it later, I'll just do it whenever I want. And then it comes to the time where my parents come back home and they're like, the kitchen's still dirty. I'm like, and they'll come to me. They'll come shout at me. And it's like, but I told him to do it and he didn't listen to me. So
no, it's the same. It's the same in like my house, similar kind of expectations, similar kind of culture. And what my dad was explaining to me today, because he was like, what do you know about Zimbabwean culture? I was like, sir. But he was just basically saying in Zimbabwean culture, you're expected to look after your parents, right? And as the firstborn, you're also expected to look after your family. So whereas like Northern Irish, British culture, my assumption is that your parents look after you. Like I know I've heard comments of, oh, you didn't ask to be born. Whereas Zimbabwean culture, it doesn't matter. Your parents are your responsibility, right? So and your parents, and as eldest child, as an eldest child, your sisters, your brothers, they're also your responsibility. So you're expected to now look after everyone, right? The point at which you have the autonomy to like cook and clean and look after the household, and when you start working and stuff, you are expected to look after your parents. So my parents will make a lot of comments about, oh, it's like literally on our way here, mom was like, oh, Mighty said she'll fill up the car. I said, fill up the car. I don't drive. There is that expectation of you're the eldest. You have to look after a family. You have to help out whatever way you can. I know I was watching like one of these YouTube videos, and basically this American guy was doing like a financial audit for this Nigerian girl, and she was like, when she got her first pay, she gave the bulk of it to her mom, and he was like, why the hell would you do that? That doesn't make sense. And it's like, no, but that's the expectation in our culture. That it's not like, oh, you're paying reparations. It's like, I know some people take it as like, oh, like I've looked after you for 18 years, now I'm paying. But it's not. I know it's perceived in Western culture as like you're paying your parents back. It's more of a thank you. You didn't have to look after me, but thank you for all that you've done for me. Do you know what I mean? And I know like it can be turns to look really like negative and be like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But I think that's just one of the beauties of like Nigerian Zimbabwean culture, where it's like, this is my way of say, like you can never pay your parents back, but like this is our way of kind of doing it. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's just Yeah.
Michael, are you the eldest in your house, or
as a boy, what is it like for
you?
That's the expectation.
Literally the exact same thing. Like that actually, no, you know what? That actually just happened recently. Like I think it was my brother's turn to wash the dishes. That kid did not show up to wash the dishes. So there was a whole family meeting going on. Like, now who's doing this? Who's doing that? And of course, I had to go and do it for his dad. Thankfully, I didn't because my dad didn't. That's just details.
You allowed your
I
dad.
know, right?
That was the first time he actually did it in jail. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to watch this. So
Oh,
Yeah.
you know when your parents start doing your chores for you, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
you actually want like maybe like because that happened before. Like I think it was basketball tournament or something. And I came late and I see my mom in the kitchen. I was like, please don't.
Exactly. When you see my dad in the kitchen, I'll
Yeah.
just
bad.
take a
Yeah.
peek in the kitchen and just make my
Man,
way
bust to that
upstairs
room.
without being seen.
No,
Oh,
no, I run.
Yeah.
No, daddy, no, mom, it's okay, it's
Scary.
okay, it's okay,
Yeah.
it's okay. I'm
At
sorry.
that point, the fact that they've started doing it, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Down, the damage
It's
is
like, oh, can I do anything? It's like, come on.
Literally. My dad's
Point is
favorite
big.
line
Yeah.
is there's 4 women in this house.
Yes. Yes.
His favorite line. And you're there like, when was the last time you cooked? When was the last time you cleaned? But okay, it's okay.
My dad does a
fine.
lot of cooking though. My dad loves
Yeah.
cooking.
that's
He
good.
absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
That's good.
But anyways, so we're talking about family and, you know, we all come from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
With regards to accents, how's that like? So, Michael, what is code switching?
Just simply changing your accent or tone to like different people in like different scenarios and like
Yeah.
environments and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a way to like I think get closure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mary, about the whole code switching thing?
I think code switching happens. I think it happens like, say you go to church and the church, there's Nigerian people in church. You change your accent to a Nigerian accent. But if you're in school, you change your accent to like Northern Irish accent. And then if you're at home, you talk to your siblings. Like me personally, I'm Spanish. So sometimes I'll talk to my siblings in Spanish or in Nigerian or in Northern Irish accent. It just varies a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think I think I've spoken about this a lot. I speak about it a lot. I didn't realize that I had a Northern Irish accent or I could do a Northern Irish accent until I moved to England. So I went to England for 3 years for university, and when all my friends were looking at me like, like, why do you sound like that? Like
Yeah.
it was just kind of like, what do you mean? Do you know what I mean? Like this is just how I speak. And people have like said like, oh, when you speak to your sister, you speak in more of a Northern Irish accent. And I'm just like, the expectation would be I speak to her in more of a Zimbabwean accent. Like I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I don't know why I do that because it's my sister, but like yeah, like just changing in different environments. I know like. I don't know if this is necessarily code switching or assimilation, but I feel like my accent is a little bit more, I want to say Nigerian, can't do a Nigerian accent, but like it is more Nigerian. Like when I'm at church, because obviously we're predominantly Nigerian in church. And like I've been thinking about it a lot like the last few months where I'm just kind of like, oh, I just need to do like a normal accent. Like, why am I like pushing it? Because I'm not comfortable when I do it. It's definitely more assimilation. But like, yeah, like trying to like find that balance, I guess, is the important thing. Yeah.
Sometimes,
Oh, sorry. Like you said, whenever you went to school in England,
Yeah.
you didn't notice that you had a Northern Irish accent. That happened to me. We went to
you went to England,
for
Amplify,
yeah,
a retreat,
Amplify.
yeah.
And you remember the driver, Aaron?
Yes.
He was saying I had a really strong Northern Irish accent. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked out of my mind because, I moved to Northern Ireland 5 years ago. I didn't really have an accent. I don't know. But me personally, I think my accent is flat. Like, honestly, I wouldn't know what to call my accent. And he was just saying that I've got a really strong Northern Irish accent. And do you remember we also went with Porter Down people?
Yes.
Yeah, they were saying that I've got an accent as well, like a strong accent. But I don't hear it. I never get told that you've got an accent. It's just, personally, I think it's just flat. Like there's no accent there.
Yeah. No,
Sometimes when I think about code switching, and I've actually been thinking about this a lot recently, I'm like, wow, like, am I almost uncomfortable or am I kind of like, what is my accent? Like, I fully don't know anymore because there are some days I sound more, let's say more kind of like a neutral London type. The other days I sound a bit more Northern Irish. You'll wake up in the morning, I have a bit of a Nigerian accent. By the end of the day, my mom was like, what did you say? What did you just say? It goes up and down. And sometimes it's like, am I comfortable? Is this a sense of being uncomfortable in the environment I'm in? It's a bit of, where do I land? But I mean, would you say there are benefits to being able to kind of change your accent in different environments, or I don't know?
Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna add something. I love referring to Dami from Love Island. It's so bad. Sorry, Dami from Love Island. If you go on like his like TikTok comments, people are like, "Oh, he's got like 30,000 different accents," right? And I think because we live in a place in the UK that has such a strong accent, and we already like our like native or our parents' accents is already really strong, then I think it adds that added dimension of like, what is my accent? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sure in like I've been referring to MLE a lot, which is Multicultural London English, which is just basically like what your accent would be or what your mom's accent would be. And it's interesting because it's just like, it's a mesh of like the Cockney accent and like Jamaican accents and stuff that are coming in, right? So a lot of Londoners, I'm sure that's just how they talk, right? Both at home and both outside. Maybe they changed it a little bit, but they don't have such a drastic change in accents. Whereas if I'm in like my work setting, I would speak my Northern Irish accent because I perceive that as like, as my more professional accent. Interesting. But I'm sure a lot of people will be like, Northern Irish. But it's German. It's just that like whole thing of like, yeah, like I'm already trying to navigate an accent that's quite strong in its home place. Like when Northern Irish people go over to England or go outside, they're already trying to like navigate their own accents as it is. And then the native like, or quote unquote native Zimbabwean accent, I wouldn't say the Zimbabwean accent is that strong, but like that accent also adds another dimension of like, oh, okay, like I'm trying to navigate which accent it is, because both of these accents are strong and they're like clashing with each other. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, sorry.
No,
I can't remember what the point was, but
it's okay.
something along this line.
Yeah. No, I was saying, are there any advantages, disadvantages when it comes to code switching? I think for me, I find it quite difficult because it's kind of just, I struggle to understand what I am. Because if I'm constantly having to change to my surroundings, it's like, am I not confident in who I am? I don't know. That's kind of how I've been thinking about it recently. Do you think that, or do you think
I think
differently?
it's a good thing, honestly. I think that means you can talk to different people, and those different people can understand you. I just think it's a good thing. I like it, honestly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a way to
agree with your
adapt.
point, to be honest, because it's just a simpler way to like relate to people, honestly. Like there's no like other way without you need to talk to people in other different ways. Yeah.
But I guess that's so cool for us. Like we have that ability to adapt, to change.
And some people are jealous of that as well.
Yeah.
Some people wish they could like speak different languages or like,
They
you know,
wish.
I think it's a good thing, personally.
I wish I could speak different languages. I can't lie. What?
I do. I wish I could
Do you
speak
speak
more.
Spanish?
I know, but I wish I could speak more languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair. But yeah, no, I think on like as much as you said, like the benefits of it, which are amazing, there are like serious like downsides to it, because it can affect like people's like mental health and how people like perceive themselves. And just having that constant like push and pull in your head of like, oh, but who am I and what am I? And I think another big thing, and I think some of you will experience it when you like leave and go outside of the country, or go outside of Northern Ireland, whenever you, as a Black person, when you speak in a strong accent, that's not African, people will look at you and be like, they'll take a double take. They'll be like, wait a second. So like, last year I went to a networking event in London, and one of my colleagues was like, he had to look at me twice when he heard me open my mouth, because he couldn't believe that a Black person spoke like that, basically. And it's like, and then, you know, when you go away, and I know people just say these things offhand, but it's like, it's been a year and I'm still thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, like people are actually shocked when they hear the way I speak, because I don't look like I should speak like that. And then when you're just trying to like figure it all out, and you're just trying to like navigate and come to a place of like, okay, and like we've titled the episode, Shades of Identity. It's not just one. It's not just, oh, I'm Black and I speak with like a Zimbabwean accent. It's I'm Black and I can speak. Can I speak with a Zimbabwean accent? Well, I guess. I can speak with a Zimbabwean accent. I can also speak with a Northern Irish accent. Do you know what I mean? I can also do a little bit of MLE because I lived in England for a period of time. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like I guess as like Michael and Mary have said, that's the beauty of it. Like we can change, we can adapt to our environments, with a lot of people can't do. Like sometimes when I'm speaking to my parents, my dad will be like, "Huh, what did you say?" And then I have to change my
Yeah.
accent so they understand. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Sometimes like, or when my parents are ordering, I hate when my parents order at McDonald's. So sorry,
yeah.
respectfully,
Yeah.
but they'll be like, "I want a burger." And they're like, "It's a burger. He wants a burger, please." But Jeremy, and it's like, I know they're like, "Oh, this is who I am," like, and and I love that. That's great, but they don't hear what you're saying, and I want to go.
That's what we're inside.
The struggle. They don't understand the struggle. Like when my
Oh
mom
my
wants to
days.
order a
Right, stop.
taxi, they're like, "Come to this such place," and they're like, "Pardon?" Like, my mom has to repeat herself several times because of her accent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a struggle, honestly.
Yeah, that is just like, and it's honestly like, you know what? They're firm in their and who they are, and they're like, it doesn't matter. I've come to this country, but I grew up in that country for 30, 40 years. I've come to this country. I'm going to stay as I am, and it's like, I'm still trying to figure out who I am. I've grown up here. The best way I've found to kind of get along in my day to day is to switch my accent a little bit. And yeah, it's a silly example of, oh yeah, and I wanted to order something at McDonald's, but it's just like in my day to day, for me to like interact with my Northern Irish peers, or to like interact in like church, in our like church, I feel like I have to change a wee bit as well. Yeah, so there is definitely a beauty to it. It's just trying to find a way for it to all just kind of come together nicely.
Yeah. And I think that beautifully leads to cultural integration and what that is. And I think I'll leave that to you, Maita, just to discuss a bit more what that is, cultural integration.
So yeah, essentially, it's bringing it all together, like bringing the different cultures that you've grown up in or you've lived in, and having it as one. And I think I'm in my early 20s. I'm in that like I want to do everything and anything kind of phase. But I'm also like, what is good for me and what would be good like going forward for like my family and stuff like that. Like my family onwards. And a lot of that comes from like, okay, culture. I've grown up in a Northern Irish culture. I've lived in kind of an English culture. I've experienced Nigerian culture as well, and I've experienced Zimbabwean culture. So what from all those different cultures works for me, and what do I want to take going forward? And essentially making my own culture. Yeah, but also like acknowledging like this is where it came from, and this is why I do this, and this is why I do that. I think one example that I have, my son has like 6 names. That's not Zimbabwean culture. I know like Nigerian culture is a little bit different, but I'm trying. But my son has a lot of names. And like I know my parents were just kind of like, why do you want to give him that many names? That's not what we do. And it's like his godmother's Nigerian. We're surrounded by a Nigerian community. Like this is what I'm used to. Do you know what I mean? This is the culture that I'm adopting, right? In the same vein, like I still wanted to give my son a Zimbabwean name. I still wanted him to have that. My son has an Irish and a Zimbabwean name, right? Oh. Like I was just like, I want him to basically be essentially an embodiment of the cultures that I've lived with, and the cultures that I love, and the cultures that have added to who I am as a person. So that's what I would say cultural integration is. Yeah.
That's so beautiful that you want to pass that on to your son. That's really cool. I think for me, yeah, I'm definitely trying to understand what parts of different cultures I like, and kind of making my own culture. I think respect is something that I really, really love within the Nigerian culture. I think it's beautiful. And I would love to keep that on. However, I'd also say, I think we were talking earlier on about when you're in the workplace, maybe you'd call your manager by their first name, whereas you wouldn't, if you're talking to someone older than you in my culture, you wouldn't call them by first name. But having kind of like that level ground respect for everyone, regardless of their age or where they come from, I would say that's something from maybe a more British culture that I would like to embody. Yeah, so that's for me, that's a bit of cultural integration, as well as I guess the friendliness of Northern Ireland. I really love how friendly this place is. And I really would love to continue to be friendly to everyone. I'm not saying that Nigerians aren't, don't get me wrong, we are a lovely, fun and bubbly people, but there's just something about the Northern Irish culture that is just so beautiful. the way that I can just walk down any street and I can smile to anybody. Like
That's so true.
that's such a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to
You
do.
wouldn't see that in Spain.
You wouldn't say that in England. Every time I
wouldn't
go
see
to,
it in
I smile at someone, they give me a dirty leg. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh no.
It's like, why are you still looking at me?
Yeah. You just walk past and they're like, you just give them a smile, they'll smile back, or it's like a hiya, you know, or
How you doing?
yeah, how are you doing? They just greet you even though they don't know you. They were just walking past and then you just live your life, you know?
I remember a few years ago, my friend he's from Birmingham, and he came over. We went to like, I don't know, some beach somewhere, say like Newcastle, something a few hours away, right? And we're walking past this lady, and I was just like, oh, hiya, you know, hi, how are you? And she replied. And then when we walked past him, he was like, do you know her? He's like, no, this is what we do here.
Yeah.
You greet people. If you see people
Yeah.
on the path, you say hi to them. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's lovely.
It is
Yeah.
beautiful. It is really beautiful.
Are there any things that you quite like about, let's say specifically Northern Ireland or Spain or Italy? Actually, you guys have so many things to say. What are some things that you guys really like about the different environments that you've grown up in?
I'd like to say the food is nice.
I
Yeah.
agree.
In which culture?
Like
Northern Irish culture.
I'm gonna say the Nigerian. Their food is amazing. I ate Nigeria food 24/7. I'd love to eat Spanish food as well, but they don't really have the ingredients for it. But
Oh.
yeah, I
And
love.
it really doesn't. Like, see if you like go like here, all the ingredients they're just not the same.
No, they're not the same.
Interesting.
They're really
Texture, not the
different.
same flavor.
No.
It's so disappointing.
Yeah. See, if my mom was making meat pie in Spain, right, and you taste the meat pie made here, it'd be different. Even though it's the same ingredients, it'll taste different.
They will be
Yeah.
different, guys.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it is very
What
different.
about that? That is so interesting because different cultures have different foods and
Yeah.
how they just what they like have on sale. Like
Yeah.
there is,
Yeah, it really
it's
changes the
different.
flavor of like yeah.
That's so
But-
interesting. No, that is really interesting. Like, sorry. It's quite sad. So sorry to you guys. But
that's really cool. Just a bit of touching in culture integration. And I guess lastly, does anyone want to say anything about living in Northern Ireland and especially you guys really, because you guys only recently moved, I guess from my nights, kind of all we've ever really.
is home.
Yeah, this is home. So anything that you'd like to say about living here and ways that you've had to adapt or anything about that in general.
Honestly, it's been a movie. Like,
It's been
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like I just moved here, just like so just trying to get in, and then all these questions, all these things. I'm like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
No, I hear
Like
it.
they're really amazed by people who aren't Northern Irish.
I'm
They really
amazed.
are. Like,
I'm amazed.
Yeah,
not a trophy.
I know, but you know, when I first came into school, right? I actually don't even know how I got around that I'm Spanish. Maybe I said it, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I was in Spanish class and all, and they were like, the teacher was like, "Wow, you're really good at Spanish," and I was like, "Yeah, because I'm Spanish." And then it got around the whole year, the whole school, and they'll just come up to me like, "Wow, can you say this in Spanish? Can you say that in Spanish?"
that-
And like, I don't know,
like,
when I first
honestly.
got there, I just thought maybe like they're really amazed by people who are like of different cultures or different places in the world, you know?
I think like maybe I've taken that from Northern Irish culture, but like literally anyone that doesn't have like the Black British like kind of like
Yeah.
thing blows my mind. Like when I only learned that you were Spanish a few days ago, and I'm like,
Really?
yeah, I'm like, wow,
yeah.
like that's amazing.
Yeah.
But I think on the
Yeah.
complexities of like Northern Irish culture, obviously you have like the unionists, you have the nationalists, and how they live out their lives and how they do things are different. So then coming and living here and living in different areas, it's also trying to identify where do I sit in the whole Northern Irish thing of whether you're Irish or you're British. And I know we were talking about this briefly earlier, but before when I was in secondary school, I used to always just be like, I'm Northern Irish. I never used to like identify as either or. It was just like a nice neutral place to sit. Then after moving to England and after realizing that people in England don't care, they think Ireland is Ireland. A lot of the times people will be like, "Oh, do you use euros over there?" And I'm just like, "No, they were part of the UK." Like, so then after this kind of just being outside, even going to Zimbabwe and telling people I'm from Northern Ireland, it's just like they're like, "Where is that?" Do you know what I mean?
It's not here.
So like as time has just gone on, I've just decided that I identify as Irish. So I identify as Black Irish. even though I've grown up in like unionist areas, I've grown up in mostly Protestant areas, I'm just kind of like, my world experience has made it so that it's easier to say that I'm Irish. But in Northern Ireland, I just say I'm Northern Irish. Because if I now say I'm Irish, it's like, oh, so you're going to mass? And I'm like, no, I've never been to mass. You know, like things like that, where it's like, okay, like in Northern Ireland is different, how I identify outside of Northern Ireland. But in all of that, like, and back to like shades of identity, it's beautiful. Like it's all so complex. It's all like you guys were saying as well, like we're able to adapt, we're able to speak to different people, we're able to, I think we're also able to embrace different things and different cultures when they come in, and meeting new people, and it's genuinely a beautiful and wonderful thing to be able to do. I love telling people that I'm Northern Irish. I love telling people that I'm from Lisburn. When people from outside of Northern Ireland are like, where are you from? I'm like, Lisburn. And they're like, and I'm like, it's like 20 minutes outside of Belfast. But you know, I love being Northern Irish. I love being able to do the accent. I love being Zimbabwean. I love that I've been surrounded by Nigerians, that I've been given that ability, that opportunity to be surrounded by Nigerians, to see Nigerian culture up close. I know I said to Gloria before that, yeah, my son's godmother is Nigerian. That household is the Nigerian embassy. Like, when I go there, we're going to eat Nigerian food. We're going to speak in Yoruba. Like, you know, all those little things. My son has a Nigerian name. Like, do you know what I mean? And I love just being able to experience all of that. I love being able to tell people my story and share my story to other people as well. Yeah, and I think you guys should love it too.
I think it's an amazing opportunity for us to have those different shades of identity, really. And I think Maita really summed that up for us. So thank you so much again, Maita, for coming in today and having this conversation. We really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for our viewers for watching our talk show today. Please be sure to look at our other episodes, to like, to comment, to subscribe, and to also share. Thank you, and see you guys soon. Bye.